Right, so we are on to round 104, and the color that I am using is the denim. Now I've gone ahead because this is a super easy peasy round, so you can begin wherever you want to, right? And all we're going to do is make half double crochet back posts around all of the stitches from our previous round, which was round number 103. So we should end up with 510 half double crochet back posts. Okay, so you're working those half double crochet front posts and the half double crochet, so there are 9 of those, and then you're working 8 double crochet front posts. Right, so I'm just saying all the stitches. Okay, so nice, easy peasy, simple round. And I won't finish this round off with you because by now you do know how to finish off the round, right? Okay, and we're just going to carry on like that, just making half double crochet back posts all the way around. And then when you get to your beginning one, and you can begin anywhere, so I began here over a half double crochet front post, right? So when you come all the way around, you just slip stitch into your second stitch, so your second half double crochet back post, and fasten off. Right, and then a good thing is to just, because this is kind of a foundation round, your stitch count needs to be 100% accurate. So make sure that you do have 510 half double crochet back posts. And I shall see you at round 105. Right, so we're on to round 105. And the color I'm using is the Claret. Now I'm going to begin in a space just before a half double crochet back post in this section. So that's where I'm beginning. Okay, but I think you can begin anywhere, right? So I'm going to begin there. And what we're going to be making into our previous round, so our round number 104, is 3 double crochets together. Okay, so we did rounds like this before earlier on, and we're going to close our 3 double crochets together with a chain 1 each time. And then we're going to skip 2 legs. So remember we talked about the legs before, and we're going to skip so that's the 2 posts, this post, that post, of the next 2 half double crochet back posts, right? And then we're working into the next space. So basically we're working into every second space between our half double crochet back posts, right? And we're just going to go all the way around. We should end up with 200 and 255. Just try and do some maths in my head. 255 times 3 double crochets together, right? So nice, easy peasy round. I'm not going to finish this round with you because it's super easy to finish off, as you know, right? Okay, and as you can see, we're skipping 2 legs each time. 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on. And then to finish this round, you'll just slip stitch into the top of this first 3 double crochet together and fasten off. And then I shall see you at round number 106. So we're on to round 106, right? And round 106, this is what we're going to be doing, right? We're going to be working 2 double crochets over the joining space between our 3 double crochets together. So our sets of 3 double crochets together, we're working 2 double crochets over the joining space, right over the joining space, and into the space between our two skipped legs, right? Those posts, the posts of the stitches from round number 103. Okay, so you can begin absolutely anywhere. Okay, and this is basically what we're going to be doing for round 106, right? So you're not making any single crochets or anything like that. You're just skipping over the 3 double crochets together. This is actually just very, very basic crochet stitches. Just making a very simple little pattern here. So I'm sorry about the light. It is already quite, it's almost 9 o'clock in the morning, but the sun doesn't get anywhere near my little workroom and the one window that I have, even though it's a really large window, until sort of after lunchtime, after 1 o'clock. Right, so that's what you're going to be doing for round number 106. And then of course, when you finish the round, you just slip stitch into the second double crochet and fasten off. Okay, so now I want to show you. So what I've been doing is working in tandem. So I like working a couple of rounds or even more than a couple of rounds, especially if they're repetitive, at the same time. So I'll do a bit of this and then I'll do a bit of the next round and so on and so forth, and it sort of follows on like a wave. So I'll show you what I've done. I have done the complete section. So basically not 10 rounds but 11 rounds for this section. Okay, so I haven't done the 11th round, which is basically half double crochet front posts. Okay, so it's good. This is what we're going to be doing. Okay, so this is our round number 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, one, I think, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right. And that's what it's going to look like. Okay, so I'm showing you sort of the complete complete image, right, of what it's going to look like when you're finished. Okay, these next 11 rounds. So that's basically what we're doing. So as you can see, I've just for the purpose of sample, just to show you a sample, I've actually snipped off my ends. So I'm going to join up my next end, because otherwise obviously I'm dragging around a whole lot of balls of yarn, which is very annoying. And this is a sample piece, right? So I'll see you in a minute as we go. So you're going to obviously finish that and fasten off, and then I shall see you at the next round, which is round 107. Right, 107. The color that we're going to be using is the gold. So this is where we're going to be following on, and you can see it's very, very simple, and I'll show you in a minute. Right, so as you can see, this is our 107 round. We are working 3 double crochets together into the space between our double crochet V's, right? So nice and easy peasy. Don't forget to make a chain 1 to close your 3 double crochets together. And you see, I was thinking about this a lot yesterday, how the pattern translates a little bit differently for everyone depending on their yarn. So somebody was saying that their popcorns, and I don't think it was for this pattern because I don't think I've used any popcorns. Maybe I have, I've already forgotten. And I think a lot depends on the kind of yarn that you're using. It might not look exactly like what I am showing you, right? So I'm using a DK weight yarn, as all of you probably already know. Stylecraft Special DK is my go-to because it's a very robust yarn. It washes well in the machine. It's an anti-pilling yarn, as far as I remember reading. And also, of course, it comes in myriad of colors, right? Myriad. Loads and loads and loads. And they keep on adding. It's just lovely. So I love the color palette, right? And also, it's a very economical yarn. So especially for designing, I don't feel too bad if I have to cut off bits or, lose a bit of yarn here and there. So enough of the idle chit chat. So this is your round 107, and the color that I'm using is the gold, right? So I'm actually just going to pop a little stitch marker in there. Okay, and then we are going to go on to round number 108. Right, so round number 108, going back to the denim. So about the colors, or about the yarn, what I wanted to say was that you will have to figure out, depending on your tension and yarn, if you need to add extra chains, right? So if you're using a very stiff yarn, and I have said this before, linen, etc., or some cottons which are quite don't have much stretch to them, you might want to add chains at some point. If you find that your work is very tight, but if you have a look at the acrylic, it really has a nice stretch to it. So I'm not adding any chains between my stitches, right? But you just need to keep an eye on that if you're using a different yarn to the yarn that I'm using for this pattern, right? So as you can see, what we're doing here in round number 108, we're skipping over, as we did over here, we're skipping over our 3 double crochets together, but of course this time we're actually working over the joining space between the second double crochet of the V and the first double crochet of the next V. So just above, as you can see, just above the 3 double crochets together. And now basically this is the formula or the stitch sequence that you're going to follow right up until your color camel, right, like that. Okay, so you're just going to carry on. So after this round, basically I just say, in the written pattern I say repeat, round number so and so, repeat round number so and so. But I think what I will do is what I'm doing now, and just kind of start the round off for the next, until we finish this section, right? And that's mostly for the benefit of you lovelies who might not understand a word on what I'm gabbing about. Right, so round 108, right? So again, I'm using my denim, and I'm just going to stop there, and you will continue, of course. So you're going to go all the way around and then just slip stitch, obviously, into the second double crochet. Right, so now, obviously, this is going to be easy peasy. Moving on to round 109. And the color that I'm going to be using is my saffron. So I shall see you there. Right, so our 109, again, we're just working into the V of our 2 double crochets, right? And we're making our 3 double crochets together. So I was thinking of doing something a bit more fancy and doing bubbles and so on and so forth, but I just thought, well, I think the 3 double crochets together work absolutely fine. So, right, so there we go. We are actually getting quite close to the 1.5 meter size that I was aiming for. Obviously that's not with the corners added, which will make it even a little bit bigger than that. So we just have not that many rounds to go after this before I make the corners. Right, so we are beginning to see light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, because I know for many of you, you are crocheting this during the summer months, right? Maybe not the hottest part of the summer, but getting there. And of course, we're about to go into deep winter, June, July, and August. Even though we haven't had much of a winter so far, I must say, it's hardly been cold at all. And in fact, yesterday it was 27 degrees. So, which is a bit annoying, seeing as I love the winter. And through the whole summer, I look forward to it. Right, so you're just going to carry on like that. And obviously, to finish off, you'll just slip stitch into the top of your first 3 double crochets together. Right. Okay, so that is round number 109, and obviously I think you know exactly what we're going to do for round 110, but I'm going to start it off anyway for the benefit of those who don't understand the English language, although I do believe that you can turn on translation on YouTube. Somebody told me that. I didn't know that. So that helps a little bit, I think. Right, so as promised, round 110, and of course this is what we're going to do. Right, so we're just going to repeat exactly what we did in the round previous to the previous round. So this, yeah, well, you know, you know what I mean. Okay, so of course in the written pattern I'm just going to have the pictures of the images, the images, and then I will just write repeat round number so and so, repeat round number so and so, right, because you are just repeating. So right, so that's how simple it is. And obviously they're very long rounds. But if you're a super fast crocheter, then you're not going to have a problem at all. So maybe it looks like I'm rushing, and to be honest, I am, because I have a cleaner. Finally I capitulated in my whole life, and I now have a cleaner who comes in on a Wednesday. His name is Willard, so I call him Mr. Chips. And of course his arrival is imminent. Life, right? So I definitely don't lead an Instagram live. Right, and so that's what you're going to do for round number 110. Now, round 111 is the color that I'm going to be using is the camel, and I'll see you there. Right, so we finished round 110, and now we're on to round 111, and the color I'm using is camel. And again, we're just working into the space between our double crochet V's from the previous round. And of course, I was crocheting like a normal person right up until I start the camera, and then everything starts getting very awkward. Right, so you're just going to work your round exactly as you did before, like that. And then of course when you finished your round, you will just slip stitch into the top of your beginning 3 double crochets together. Right, and that's it basically for round number 111. Okay, again, don't forget to make your chain 1 to close, right? Otherwise your work is going to be quite tight on the perimeter, right? A bit too tight. So, and as I said, you need to play around with chain spaces in between if you feel that you need that. Right. Okay, so you're just going to carry on like that. Okay, and I shall see you at round number 112. Right, so round number 112, and we're doing exactly what we did with our double crochets before. So we're working over that joining space between our 3 double crochets together. Right, so pretty simple. Okay, just working our 2 double crochets like that. This is actually quite a nice stitch pattern. I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure it's out there somewhere and it has a name. But I think it would be pretty as a baby blanket, baby coverlet. And you could use all kinds of different colors. You know, you could do sort of like a temperature blanket using this pattern, right? So it's nice and simple, but actually very, very nice for just a square if you wanted to make a cushion cover. This is also quite a nice pattern for that. So as I say, I never watch video tutorials for crochet anymore because I don't really have the time, and I don't make other designers' patterns, which I wish I had time to do, because I'm always busy, you know, with my own stuff, but I see so many patterns that I would love to make. Right, so as I say, I have no idea what this pattern sequence of stitches, you know, this pattern is called. If it is out there somewhere, maybe you can drop me an email and say it's called so and so. But I have no idea. Right, so okay, so it's going to look, so you can see where I joined my yarn, but of course this is a sample piece, so I'm not really worried about things like that. It would be different if I was making this for someone, you know, if it was special. It is special, but I only use some of my blankets, and others I vacuum seal them and store them away, because sometimes I think they're a little bit precious, which is maybe not such a good thing. Right, but then again, you can have, you know, it's like anything. You have your cutlery and crockery that you use for your home. You have some other types of cutlery and crockery that's maybe heirloom, and you know, you want to preserve it for as long as possible, so you put it away and it's not in daily use, something like that. Okay, right, so that is round number 112, and I shall see you at round number 113. I hope I've got, yes, that's correct, round number 113, which will give us our 10 rounds, okay, for this section. and then we're going to add a round to that, and that will be the half double crochet front posts. Right, so I shall see you at round number 113, and we're going to continue, or at least I'm going to continue with my denim, but you can change up your color if you want. Right, so our round number 113, which is the final round of our 10 rounds, we are just going to make simple half double crochet front posts over all of our double crochets, like so. Right, so you'll end up with 510 half double crochet front posts. Right, so it's just going to look like that. Okay, so that is round 113, and then of course to finish off you'll just slip stitch into your second half double crochet front post and fasten off. Right, and then I shall see you at the next 10 rounds. Enjoy!